We're going to be talking about the Transtheoretical model. Just one moment, I think. Okay, never mind. All right. Can anyone give a brief description of the model?
I can. So basically, it's just, well, it consists of 6 stages of change and then 10 processes of change, and it uses those to intervene with behavior, right? I think.
Yeah. Did you say 6 stages?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 6. Maybe I counted wrong.
Yeah, there are. The last one's like confusing because it's termination, but sometimes like in the book it's not listed, but in our other reading it was. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to know because I thought it was 5. Okay. Anything else? I think that was good. We're gonna walk through it anyway in a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Discuss the processes and how they relate to the stages of the model.
There are a bunch of processes of change. There are 10 of them that I counted, and they all kind of just like guide us through each stage of change. Like they're all necessary to make it from one stage to the next. So they're just as essential to the process.
I think one thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I wasn't.
I think one thing. So the first process of change is consciousness raising, and I think that goes along really well with pre-contemplation, because in pre-contemplation, people aren't really aware of that they might have a behavior that needs to change, and so that's, you use consciousness raising in order to make them aware of things they may want to change and educate them.
Yeah. Something to add with that stage is they're not ready to put any action into changing yet. They may be in denial. In other words, in that.
Does anyone, I'm still having trouble understanding like the dramatic relief. Can anyone explain that a little better to me? It's in the 10 processes of change.
It's in one of the 3 between pre-contemplation and contemplation, right?
So it's in the processes, it's after consciousness raising and then before self-reevaluation.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember.
I think also what I have in the book, it might say this online too, but it says experiencing the negative emotions like fear, anxiety, worry that go with unhealthy behavioral risks. So when I think of that, I kind of just assume maybe that's like part of the change, like how we get kind of like fearful, I guess, of
kind of how you get to self-reevaluation. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes more sense now.
I think of it as emotional arousal. Your emotions start playing into your decisions. Maybe that's what's like dramatic, your emotions. Yeah. And then there's going from contemplation to preparation, there's self-reevaluation. And between preparation and action, there's self-liberation. And then action to maintenance has a bit more steps, and they're counter conditioning, helping relationships, reinforcement management, stimulus control, and social liberation. And let's see. Okay, the last question before we get started is, what kind of interventions centered on the processes move people through the stages? I kind of feel like we're going to be talking about that in our scenario. Do you guys just want to like talk about that while we're talking about our scenarios?
Yeah, because I don't really understand what it's trying to ask. It's kind of like vague right there, I feel like.
Like we're
Like
going to be
for-
getting.
Huh?
Well, we'll just choose our scenario and we'll talk about the different kind of interventions if that's okay with all of you. Okay. So scenario number 1. You are a health educator on the BYU Idaho campus working with a group of young men who are spending in excess of 16 to 20 hours per week playing violent video games. These young men are struggling academically at school. Upon initial interview with these young men, none of them feel they have a problem and are happy with the amount of time they spend gaming. So that's the first scenario. The second scenario is you are a health educator on the BYU Idaho campus. Your roommate or spouse is struggling with depressive symptoms but is not seeking help. How do you use the Transtheoretical stages of change model to develop interventions centered on the processes to move him or her through the stages? Parentheses, understand that you need to do some preliminary research on working with individuals with mental health issues. Working with this population is not just a quick fix. Understand the target population from their perspective. So for your chosen scenario, work together to develop interventions using the 8 interventions centered on the processes that would move this population through the stages of change. So scenario number 1. Raise your hand. 1.
I don't care.
You don't care? Okay. Emily, I can't see your face. Do you want to do first or second?
Oh, she put I do.
I do? Okay, so that's 3 and 4. Okay, let's do it. I was like hitting more towards second, but we can do this. Okay.
I feel like it'd be maybe easier. I don't know. Maybe not.
All right, let's do it. So, do all of you guys have the page for our assignment ready? The chart? We can use that as. Hang on just one moment. I thought I had it up. Okay. So this is just a clarification question. Do we choose an intervention for each step or in between each step?
I think we choose an intervention for each stage, not process.
Each stage.
Does that make sense? Or, well, actually, no, because under maintenance, there's one for counter conditioning, helping relationship, and all of those. So there's 10 interventions we have to come up with, and then an explanation of the intervention.
Okay. Okay. All right, so the first intervention is pre-contemplation. The process is consciousness raising dramatic relief, environmental reevaluation. So when I think of the first stages, they're kind of in denial. They don't know it's a problem. And that can be really hard to tell someone, you know, you may need to change. Some of the interventions, just as a refresher, are health communication strategies, health educational strategies, health policy, environmental change, health-related community service, behavior modification, organizational cultural activities, and social activities.
I definitely think one could be like the communication intervention and the education, because you want to raise awareness of what, I think.
Yeah, education and communication.
behavior modification. That could be another one. Too.
Yeah. Would that be pre-contemplation or more like preparation and action? I don't know.
What were you thinking with behavior modification, Karen?
I guess I was going more with the awareness side, but I can go with the education, the health educational.
Okay, we can put that down. Education and communication. So through classes, like at school.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, we could just do like public service announcements. So it doesn't necessarily have to just be like in a classroom. Like it could just be,
Or through social media.
yeah, like reaching a larger population, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. Should we move on? Anyone have anything else?
So is this just specifically for the pre-contemplation stage, or is it for
Just pre-contemplation.
pre-contemplation?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
I wonder if we could even too, since our population is like the gaming community. I don't know if, well, this wouldn't really go with pre-contemplation. This might go with like maintenance, but we could do something like requiring the video game companies to have, well, I mean, I guess they already have warnings maybe. I don't play video games, but just like maybe 18 and over or 16 and over should play this. I don't know. Like, but anyway, we can talk about that later.
That would go under policy, right? Policy change.
Yeah, that would be more policy.
And they
That's
do
a good
have a age restriction on them.
They do.
Yeah.
How do we
Then they
enforce
also-
it? Of course, I guess our population's college kids, so they would be over the age limit anyway.
That's true.
So I think they just need to realize that the effect that their actions have on their day-to-day life, realize that they probably should be focusing on their academics. But I think that's the hard part, is making them realize, hey, I actually have a problem, instead of, oh, I'm just playing video games and I really love playing video games, so I'm just going to keep playing video games.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder too if there's like statistics on like how much like violent video games you play versus like how like maybe more violent or not abusive, but like just how like you are in real life. I wonder if there's statistics on that. Maybe you could show them like statistics show that if you're playing violent video games, then you're more likely to, I don't know, be more violent.
Or like you're less likely to have a girlfriend, or because this is a BYU Idaho like audience, so I don't know, like social cues. So show statistics in education. Education interventions. Okay, do we want to move on?
Yeah.
All right, so then another type of intervention, wait, I don't really understand. Are we still going with pre-contemplation?
See, I'm confused. It wants us to pick one for each process because it has 3 processes and 3 boxes. If that makes sense.
Oh, you know how there's individual, in each stage there's 3 types of processes, so just one for each process: dramatic, relief, and emotional.
Yeah. So I think they're trying to aim at like one for each of those processes.
So dramatic relief, emotional arousal, like targeting their emotions.
We could do.
Maybe just asking them about how they feel when they play video games. Like, are they really happy? Do they realize that, I don't know, do they not feel good with their body? Or like just from sitting down the whole time and just zoning out on everything else, do they recognize whether they miss things, or are they frustrated with their life and how it is, and so they escape through video games, or something like that?
Would you say like giving out a survey to the BYU like student population? A survey can kind of help them think about their emotions to it. Is that what you're going towards?
Ooh, that was I was just kind of a general idea, but I really like that idea of having a survey that just makes them think about their situation and realize in what kind of state they're in.
Okay, let's put that down. I don't know what kind of intervention I think that's communication, right?
I think so. I think one thing I want to add too is like not only can it mess with like your emotional well-being, it can, like if you're staying up super late, and there's also been studies that if you're having a lot of like eye contact or screen contact, then it gives you like it like increases your chances of being depressed, and that doesn't even include the violent video games. And like I don't know, it can give you insomnia and like the physical like issues with playing video games late at night we could also ask about like, do you feel like unhappy? Are you getting any sleep? I don't know, things like that.
Is the survey considered like an assessment? Because a health-related community service intervention has that. It includes services, tests, treatments, and an example is a health risk assessment.
What intervention is that?
The health-related community service.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. So we can use that one
Thank you.
for the
Yeah.
survey.
Okay, environmental reevaluation. This population is in BYU, and the environment is it's conservative. Let me think how we can have them reevaluate where they are in their habits.
We could maybe have like, well, because our campus is gospel oriented, we could bring in something, I don't know, well, that's more, I don't know if that's education or community. It's not really environmental, but I don't know. I'm brainstorming.
Bring in a speaker on a Tuesday.
An apostle, maybe.
I'm sure they've spoken about this modification.
I think going along with that too, was what Caitlin said, like we've been counseled about it before, and like we could also bring in maybe like doctors that study, psychologists that study the effects of like violence and on how our behaviors are too. So you get like the secular and the spiritual. I don't know. I don't know how that would change the environment though.
I mean, we could use like the organizational cultural activities. I mean, because the culture has to do with the environment, right? Like if we did something like they can't do that they do things, I guess. So if we had someone
I think that's a good idea.
Could you explain that again?
I'm trying to find the words myself. I'm just looking at the organizational cultural activities section, and because it's saying that part of the techniques is to change the way they do things. and that includes incentives or disincentives. And the goal is to break bad habits. So I'm not sure exactly what we could do, but I'm thinking that could be like the intervention is organizational cultural activities. And I don't know, maybe even like offer an incentive for turning in games, or I don't know. I'm brainstorming here. I have no idea where I'm going with that, but
No, I see some sort of for video games. I just can't think of one. A good incentive for me to pick up a video game. I see where you're going with that.
There could even be like kind of a roommate accountability type thing, because I know there's like an ad on campus. It's like something to do with being your brother's keeper of your roommates or something, and it could be something like, if you see your roommates aren't going to classes, or they're depressed, or they're not getting sleep due to violent video games, things like that, maybe suggest ways that they could maybe, I don't know, invite their roommates to do something, like change their roommate's environment, like help change it. I don't know.
yeah.
Change our apartment's environment with roommate accountability projects. I like it. Let's do it then. How do we all feel about moving on?
Hang on, let me make sure I get this down here. So it would be roommate accountability.
That's really cool. I haven't ever heard of that, but it sounds like a good way to kind of keep everyone in line. Kind of like on a mission, companion accountability.
Mhm.
So are we ready? Good. So next one, self-reevaluation for preparation.
Mhm.
Maybe we could use the health communication strategies and make like an ad, put around this.
Where do
So-
gamers normally hang out?
In the room.
In the room. Going to apartments.
Game
I would-
stores. I don't know. Do they have game stores anymore?
What if we like put those communication posters in apartment entryways? I know that there are like entryways where there's like a whole bunch of advertisement. Could kind of get overshadowed though.
You could even do it on campus. Like there's always ads on campus, like Stuck in the Grass, or of course, I don't know if they're not going to classes, they might not be on campus.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing like the ads in the apartment complexes, because then it's kind of hard to miss them. They have to go out eventually.
Unless they order their groceries or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Online ads, even like on the home page.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe even, I know that I haven't been at BYU Idaho too long. I came from BYU Provo, but on the BYU homepage, there was always announcements on like an article. Maybe we can have a time for that ad to be up on the homepage of BYU Idaho. Does BYU Idaho do that? Yeah, let's do it then. Have not advertisement, an article or a quick type of announcement that can catch someone's eye about streaming modification, game modification. So the next one is self-flip. Oh wait. Yeah, is the next one, we're on self-liberation, on action?
Yeah.
So for that one, is how I looked at it is they're able to actually go forward and change their bad habit. Maybe we can do something with like the controls.
I think.
Turn in your game.
I have a funny idea. I think I don't play video games much, but I think sometimes like the controls vibrate if something happens. Maybe it could like shock them if they kill a character. Like, I don't know. That's kind of a joke, but
Or maybe they
that's
can
not
like,
ethical.
no. Or no, I like the way you're going, like have some sort of control vibrate if they pass a limit. For example, no more than an hour a day.
Mm.
Off on them.
Or they
Well,
can,
Yeah, or it could automatically turn off, like, because a lot of the apartments, like, their TVs are there, so maybe there could be like, I don't know, like a child filter thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, like you've been playing games too much. I don't know if that's even possible, but
like Netflix, it tells you.
do your homework and like flashes.
Would that be like under health policy and enforcement strategies? Like
I would think so.
Mhm.
apartment policy, I guess.
Their systems just shut down after so many minutes of playing.
Seriously.
Maybe
Yeah,
another.
Go ahead.
Oh, so maybe another thing that would be potentially good is just like, there's the addiction recovery support groups and stuff like that. So maybe having one of those for video games. And mainly what I'm thinking out with this is just making a commitment to other people as well as yourself that you won't do that, because if they're in the preparation stage, they realize they have a problem and they're going to try to change. But like, if we want them to get to action, then we need them to commit. And the more people they commit to, the more likely they'll be to actually fulfill that action. If they know that they're going to have to talk with these people again, then they're going to be more likely to act on that and prevent themselves from spending so much time playing video games and actually get to the real world.
I agree. I actually think we could probably put that, what you just said, in self-liberation and move what we just had, our idea, down to stimulus control, because that would give them like a negative, like a disincentive every time they play for too long.
So for stimulus control, some sort of policy preventing their time playing for longer periods of time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
And then we could do the social group that Alec was talking about to get them all to be united together.
Mm-hmm. You know what I was thinking when Alec talked about the support groups? Maybe we can talk about, maybe there's like a box where students can put people's names and their phone number who they think may need help, and the support group people grab it and contact these people and invite them to come. I don't know what kind of intervention that would be in, but I feel like that would be in the self-liberation stage.
That would be really good for self-liberation.
So
Social activities.
social activities, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Provide people's names and contact info. I don't know if that's ethical. Yeah, just an idea. Okay, counter conditioning with maintenance. I felt like this stage, maintenance, I found this stage to be the most interesting because it had so many components to it. And in my opinion, I feel like when we're maintaining something for a longer period of time, it's harder than the beginning, at least for me. It's kind of like enduring to the end. Yeah. So, counter conditioning.
So going back to the support groups thing, maybe with this, since you're supposed to be substituting the unhealthy habits with healthier ones, maybe it's like taking a group of people that go to the support group and have them go exercising every day or after a certain amount of time, or they I don't know, they form just friendships and they go out and do things like social activities on campus or things like that. Um, Maybe try and get them involved in different volunteer organizations or something like that.
I like that
Yeah.
idea.
Introduce them to BYU Idaho organization.
I think that would be under organizational cultural activities as well.
Club.
One other thing, have you heard of, I don't know what the name for it is, but they like dress up in costume and like battle in real life? I forgot what it's called. It's like
Oh, the live action role playing, the
live action LARPing, yeah. So maybe we could like do a thing like with their favorite video game, like they could be characters. I don't know, you could LARP more.
I've never heard of this. So
Yeah,
you
sometimes
dress
they
up.
do it at Porter Park. I've seen them. Seen some groups of guys doing it. And some girls. Some girls.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It's like physical activity, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So could you
Well,
say that
yeah.
one more time? LARPing?
LARPing. It's live action role playing.
Okay.
And I think too, like, I feel like a lot of gamers, I mean, you're online with other people, but you're not necessarily interacting with people next to you face to face, you know? So it could give them more of like, oh, a lot of people enjoy this too. Like maybe we could get together and make a party out of it, you know, have pizza and like just do it once a week. I don't know, stuff like that.
Social activities. Okay. Yeah, I like it. LARPing. I didn't know about that.
I could even go under like reinforcement management and helping relationship. Like if you have friends that maybe like struggle as well, they can help you.
I like it for the helping relationship, social activities, and also reinforcement management. Okay, counter conditioning. So how I understand counter conditioning is you provide them with something else to do. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Or am I heading towards the wrong direction?
Yeah, that's it.
Hmm. They say that their grades are low or are on the downside. We can help them with finding tutors. That's one way we can address that part. I think that'd be a health educational strategy.
That's good. Maybe get them to the drop-in labs or things like that so they're with other people as well.
Okay, and then for helping relationship, we have the LARPing, social activities, reinforcement management.
We could do like give them like a tracking log. I don't know that like I've gone so many days without playing or with so many days with only playing like an hour a day. So then it I don't know if that would be reinforcement, but.
Enforcement, give them incentives.
Mm-hmm.
People like incentives.
What intervention would that go along with? I don't know.
Health policy enforcement strategies. What if we say, give us your control for, or the support group has a control for maybe they start out with a full week and then they give it to them maybe like every other week, little by little, so that they can, I mean, the goal isn't to completely cut them off from video gaming, it's to get them to modify their behavior. It's social activities. Caitlin? She asked. Okay. Any other ideas?
I like that one.
Giving up your gaming control for a certain amount of time and getting it back after a while.
Yeah.
So we mentioned a policy goal for the stimulus control. And was that like having your control shake or?
I was thinking the TV shutting off, like the system shutting off after like an hour of playing.
Let's do that.
What intervention was that one for that one?
It's the health policy /
Oh yeah.
And then social liberation.
I think we put the social activities, the one like with the, what I think was what you were saying about writing down names or numbers of people who you think need help.
Oh, okay. Is that what we decided for social liberation? Writing, kind of recruiting people we know?
Yeah, isn't this social liberation?
Yeah. What intervention would that go under?
Social activities.
Is there, I've never been to the BYU Idaho campus. Is there like a big area where everyone meets, like the Wilkinson Center?
Yeah, MC.
What is that
Yeah,
place
MC.
called?
The Manwaring Center.
Manwaring Center?
Manwaring Center, or MC, the MC.
The MC can have people submit names at the MC.
They also do, you're able to do like booths on campus. Well, I don't know if booths are the right word, but you could do just an awareness and like have them drop them off there and like get more information maybe to take back to their roommates or just a friend they might know, like pamphlets. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So social activities. Okay. It looks like that's it. Is there anything else we want to discuss before we end?
That's good.
All right. So I will. I wrote everyone's names down, and that's weird. Kanisha Wardle didn't show up, did she?
I didn't. Did Angela show up? And then someone wasn't going to be here. I don't remember who it was.
Angela. She was.
Oh, it was Angela. Heather
Let's
wasn't
do
here
that.
today.
Yeah, Heather. I think she said she was going to be at girls camp.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll contact Kanisha. That's so weird. She's like super on time when I met with her one-on-one a while back. So wonder
Sweet.
what happened. Okay,
So we
cool.
need to choose next week's team leader.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah, we've already been it, so.
Alec. Do you want to do it?
Alex?
I got it.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Sweet. See you guys next week.
All right. Cool.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, guys.